up. The crowd's already into it. Taz drops down. And they'll go for this A-take. Two smokes, already off on that jungle side. Bialy's got to peek out and be so careful. But Cajun B's already found one. Kerrigan's going to find Bialy. And there's no one left to defend this site. The bomb's going to go down. And Zipnix has already found Snacks. So it's Pasha on the flank, and he's trying to come in from behind. Cajun knows he's there. And 1-0 already for the Danish squad.
A complete sweep for the Danish team. And well, this is not something they're new to doing. Smoking off jungle and the connector area and then pushing through into CT spawn. Actually, at that point, when they finally got to CT spawn, there wasn't really that many left from VP to hunt down, but...
Not even a single kill going the way of VP, in fact.
Yeah, that's just TSM hitting great shots at the right time.
And they're going to go straight into rifles for it. We do have the one MP7 out. That's going to be for Kerrigan. We saw him use that to excellent effect on overpass down toward the sewage pipe, but now they've got the AK and 2 Galils to work with as well, but it's Bialy who finds the first kill. Cajun B goes down. That's your Deagle. Mr. Juan already on the board, and he's still up close, so this will slow down the push just a little bit. Kerrigan's up toward the cubby at mid. Pasha knows he's there, and he's trying to wait patiently for him to peek back out. In fact, Neo's got the off angle from Catwalk as well, so Kerrigan now dropping down. This is looking really good for VP on the eco because TSM hasn't found an opening. Finally, the fire will burn away Bialy, and they'll try and march in, but again, still a man down and decent health already off device.
TSM are getting so bogged down right now. They haven't really been able to make it onto the bomb site yet.
Here's your response, though. Zipnix gets Pasha, but it's Taz finding one. It's Snacks now. It's all up to device. This is the man with only that 20 HP. Does have the rifle. They haven't been able to secure a gun on Virtus.pro's side, but the Polish are already back into this, and it's 1-1 on the back of an eco, and CT side eco, this turns it right back around.
It really does, and well, the way that Bialy opened that round up with that 1D just slowed down TSM completely. They never got out of pit, they never got out of that properly, and they just ended up being shooting targets for Virtus.pro, which is very solidly done. And I think, in all honesty, Kerrigan probably should have picked up the frag onto Pasha in mid there, and that could have opened things up for them, but that was not the case.
And again, they'll go for this underpass. Try and get up close. Close proximity with the pistols will be the name of the game. No Tech 9's out, but Dupree doesn't need it. He's got that P250. Pasha's already dropped. Smoke off from Snacks. That's going to delay them, but they're going to push right through it. They wanted to be sight regardless. Snacks gets the first with the AK. Damage is dealt as well. On to Cajun B. He'll fall second. And the support's coming around. Neo's already fallen back off that catwalk position, but they're going for this boost. That fire forces them into the corner. Snacks finds Dupree. And it's only 2 left now, but look at the HP. Snacks and Neo are so low, they might still be able to get at least the damage dealt and the bomb in toward a plant position, but never mind, Taz has already arrived, so it's all falling apart for TSM.
How the hell is Snacks surviving all of this? And as I say that, he goes down, but Snacks survived for a solid 30 seconds there with 19 HP while challenging. And that's why we talked about Snacks earlier on. He's a bit of a god on that B-bomb site.
And TSM's going to go man mode right now. We're already seeing them go straight back to rifles because they got decent damage dealt into the CT side, so this round's going to mean more than anything for either side. I believe that they bring us back and break out the economy of VP to CCs, the defenders, and give TSM a chance to get even more C-sided rounds, or it's going to make it even harder because they'll break themselves and then VP will run away with the momentum.
And this is going to be the standard A-take from Dignitas, or TSM. They're getting shut down by VP here. Bialy with the frag. Taz to Cajun finally breaks the deadlock for TSM.
And Taz comes over the top, catching out device, flashed up inside Sandwich. Kerrigan, though, at least gets one in response. This will get him inside the site, but he's going to drop. Bialy's there, and he's looked excellent so far from that CT stairwell.
Yeah, pretty much everyone from VP showing up so far, and they're doing such a good job of actually getting the initial frags. As soon as TSM show themselves with that A-bomb site, they instantly get a pick, and that just kills the momentum of TSM right away. So sure, they have smokes and whatnot down, but they don't really have the manpower to actually take over that bomb site.
Interesting, you know, Pasha's got this off out. He's going to be up against the pistols. He needs to hit this shot early. Otherwise, he'll risk economy damage. They are coming up close underneath. Taz already finds Zipnix. That nade does minor damage. Actually, I shouldn't say minor. Significant 40 damage onto Kingston B. No armor, so it's from a decent range, but Dupree finds Taz. Neo answers immediately. It's your MP9. Device, though, with that 1D, man, we saw an absolutely brilliant round from him on overpass with it. Can he find more? They've got it down to only 1 the difference. Pardon me, in fact, never mind. Kerrigan's still alive. I thought he was down. He's got 4 HP, so it's still a 3-on-3. They're working back toward A. They have the bomb. Snacks is still left alone on B, so it's up to Neo and Pasha. The Op's going to hold off that first angle from jungle, though. Neo's already on the stairwell, and he's going to spot the first, but Device again! There's that Deagle! And now it's only one man left on the site. It's Pasha. He has to rotate back because it's an unadvantaged angle to come in. So they'll get this bomb plan, although Kerrigan's got to be quick. Pasha's coming around the corner. He's still trying to get it down in the middle of the site. It will go. That's going to give them a bit more money to work with. Unfortunately, though, Pasha will get the headshot. And Cajun B's got to hold them out. Pasha's very low, though. 10 HP for him. Snacks just now getting toward jungle.
Yeah, Pasha playing this extremely passive. It's almost like he wants Snacks to retake this alone.
They were still checking toward mid, checking that connector. Now it's process of elimination. They know he's over to Tetris. Cajun finds the first. He's in a winnable situation because Pasha's so low, he just has to bait him out. And he'll do it. TSM 3-2. Excellent eco round from them.
Absolutely brilliant. And this time Device gets rewarded for those Deagle shots. And, well, versus LGB didn't quite go all the way, but this time, Cajun is able to finish it off.
So Device picks up the op in return. Snacks is going to go to the scout. They won't be able to rebuy up for Pasha. He's going to have to hold on to that Deagle. Like I mentioned, huge investments going against pistols.
Yeah, and you can already tell what Snacks is going to do on that B-bomb side. And that's why they're leaving him alone as well, because he can just jump up and down with that scout all day and put significant damage onto TSM if they want to go towards B.
That's probably the most powerful spot in the entire game for the jump scout right now. Because usually you're seeing players jump it anyway, regardless of whether or not they have the scout. They're getting the information. Now they can also put a shot out, so it's pretty potent. Pasha finds a little bit of information toward mid, takes one shot with the Deagle, a little bit of damage dealt to him, so he'll fall off that window and just hold the close angle in case Kerrigan wants to get aggressive from the underpass. In fact, Cajun B's on the backside as well, so they could go for the window boost should they elect to, but Taz is waiting inside the connector in case they want to. He'll pop out, and there's the first kill for him. Kerrigan goes down, so that play is already gone, but they're grouping inside apartments now. Dupree's still doing damage. He'll hold them off on A. Taz goes down, and Snacks is going to have to be massive right now with this scout because they're slowly working onto his angle. There it is, though. First tag already out. Unfortunately, a little bit clumsy. Can't get the flash up in position, so they'll pour out on top of him. He's got to be so careful. He wants to push through with this P250. Hold station. I'm not sure he knows exactly where he is because I think he might think he's in the corner underneath the balcony. Instead, he's in the open, so if this smoke goes away, Device is going to be able to spot him quickly, but he's changed his angle. Neo, meanwhile, will get Cajun B. He tries to go for the plant. Snacks gets Device as a response, so Zipnix has to be massive. He'll at least find Pasha. 1-on-2. Both low HP on Snacks and Bialy, and my mistake, Snacks again, this overlay throwing me off, is still up, so it's a 1-on-3 as Neo's still alive, and there it is. Snacks doesn't need more than 2 HP. Zipnix to drop.
And again, Snacks just apparently using God mode. He just refuses to die, and if he goes down there, that's an easy bomb plant for TSM. They actually have an opportunity to get into after plant positions. Snacks just staying alive, just being a constant nuisance to TSM. Does everything for them. Got so much information as to where TSM are setting up for their after on this side because they never got the bomb down, but that was just really impressive.
Huge 2 pickup for VP. This anti-eco going to perfection. Pasha finds 2 with the op, so he's got it out again and he's willing to use it. Zipnix, all that's left.
He's not even going to pick up the bomb. He's just looking to get a kill.
That's all he can hope to do, so just get a little bit of frag money, try and do some damage to the economy of VP because they were quite fragile. He's done just that. Taz already drops. And he doesn't even lose any HP there, so he completely top Taz out, but Bialy finds him immediately after, and VP, that's important because Taz actually was your high money man. Now he's got to buy back into this, and they don't have a whole lot to work with. 34, 37. I guess Neo's up there, 54, but the more damage they can deal, the quicker they'll be able to get back into it if they start winning rounds.
Yeah, and TSM obviously going to buy up. And knowing that VP have actually taken so much damage during their ecos and just in rounds in general, they're going to be really strapped for cash if TSM manages to bring this back now. And again, setting up for that A-take. This time, they actually need to get out of pit and onto the bomb side.
The issue is that Taz is already pushing mid, so they've got information. That means Pasha and Neo have already rotated to jungle. Smokes are out. There's one in the counter that'll slow down TSM. They're going to go right through it. Dupree finds Neo. Now they've got a chance. Pasha tries to swing in behind that smoke and get back into the site. He finds the first. There's your op. He gets the second as well. Absolutely perfection from him. Completely reads the gap in that smoke, and now Bialy's going to catch out Cajun B, and there's your flank. Taz up mid, like we mentioned. Already into the backside of Device. The bomb does at least get planted, but VP, oh, pardon me, they get the defuse out, so it came in the smoke. And Zipnix couldn't hold anything at all.
Well, VP just a really solid retake, and what you mentioned, Taz being so far up into mid made that rotation so easy. They had all the information they needed, and even with Taz, already committed to saying, no, going up mid. They had 3 people to defend that A bomb site.
Smoke defused, and Zipnix couldn't get back out. Now it's right back to pistols again. Money bonus still yet to hit either, because it's only 3 rounds the difference going the way of VP. It's gonna be a hurting T side. They gotta start stringing some rounds. That'll open it up. There's your Tech 9. Pasha drops. They won't be able to secure that gun though. As they go for this boost, but Snacks is already waiting inside the ladder room, peeking out, and he's gonna find Cajun B. Evens it right back up. Bomb drop, but Dupree's there if he wants to recover it. Nading up onto Snacks. Taz, that connector is low HP, so if they can actually hold off Snacks' angle, not give him any line of sight, so there you go, that exact smoke. Dupree and Zipnix might be able to push Taz and catch him off. That means they've got to pull Snacks out immediately into jungle to respond, and that means Device would have an opening from Palace, so there's a play to be made here for TSM, but they need to find this kill immediately on Taz, and they're backing in. They don't know he's there. It's an easy kill, just one though. Zipnix gets the trade.
Zipnix picks up the AWP as well. And with Neo rotating in from Catwalk here, there's a potential pick up for TSM to have here, but they're actually going to move away from the middle area and Device, just making as much noise as possible towards A. And well, it seems like the 2 remaining teammates of his are going to join him as well.
So they'll regroup. Zipnix picks up the bomb back towards spawn. They'll use time to their advantage because now Neo has to second guess and go back toward B in case they want to address that. Snacks is inside connector though, and Viali's still at A, so they've still got a decent crossfire. Kerrigan wants to open up the site, but Snacks has already found Zipnix, and Kerrigan gets answered when he looks in that direction. Device only gets 1, and Viali closes it out, so 7 now for Virtus.pro, and money back the way of the terrorists, though. They'll go straight to this op.
Yeah, and the big question is, where does Device want to go with this op? Is he going to go A-Apps, see if he can find Pasha rotating in between connector and CPL? That type of thing, or is he just going to go straight for B, maybe, to see if he can find Snacks jumping up and down? It looks like he's going to go towards that B bomb site. Let's see if Snacks indulges.
So far, he's playing passively from the jail. Smoke out again on window. Forces Neo out. Pasha's going to rotate with him. Neo's going to head back through checkers onto the B site, and that's exactly where TSM's setting up. Dupree's the man holding the bomb. He's got Cajun B and Device with him. Kerrigan needs to get down middle. He doesn't know that there's no one in window. Taz is going to hold the reverse angle. He won't be able to get to Catwalk, so it's going to be a straight 3 take, and Snacks is already slowing it down. Cajun B drops. But Dupree at least got Neo right before that's all he's going to get. Snacks gets a second, and man, oh man, he is so efficient. You need Kerrigan to be quicker. Finally, he arrives. He'll drop him, and now 3 players from VP are boxed out. They're inside checkers, but Device needs to get this bomb now. He picks it up, and they've got to try and secure this plant before VP find a way inside the site, and Taz is going to man up and go right through the smoke. That fire held them out too, so Device can't get the plant, but he does get the kill. Taz goes down, and now they've got the man advantage and a little bit of site control. They'll get it planted off. Kerrigan's on the catwalk, and Zipnix just needs to be careful up on the balcony not to get picked from the window if he crosses back over inside the apartments. And here comes the retake. Already picking off Kerrigan. He couldn't hit that crossfire, but Zipnix holds station. That's the patience he needs. Doesn't get caught, waits entirely for the first kill to come out and responds. TSM now have their 3rd and money to work with. And VP, we mentioned it, damage going out. They're very fragile right now. They'll force up into these FAMASas, but that's all they're going to get. Snacks is going to have to work with just the Deagle.
Just the Deagle, and I guess the worst part for VP in this situation is the fact that they don't really have any needs to work with. So if TSM catch on to this, they can set up for an execute towards the bomb side, be it through mid or just a standard cookie cutter way we've seen so far. And that could do massive damage to them because VP has to rely simply on their firepower to hold them back.
Shots coming out. Taz gets the better of it. Kerrigan drops, so Strat caller out. He'll get to watch from the bird's eye and make sure his team makes the right call, but they're walking in naked inside this A site. Cajun B's gonna make it work. Picks off both on the backside of the stairs. That's jungle down. Connector's off as well. Dupree's keeping Snacks busy. They just have to worry about Viali, and the smoke's out on him. He'll jump above it, and Device was already waiting. Easy shot. And now TSM's rolling. Now we're looking at potentially, yeah, Snacks already running away to hide. We're looking at potentially a 4th round plus an anti-eco coming out.
Yeah, and you can tell Dupree already on the hunt there for Snacks. Wants to find out where the last remaining VP member is. Because if he's able to take that out from Snacks' hands, then it's going to be pretty much a clean eco coming out from VP instead of having that potential threat of Snacks going huge 1 round.
There's been decent support for VP in the crowd as well, so lots of hype throughout Copenhagen Games. But again, another round going to the home team. Make it that much closer. Snacks will at least hold on to this M4. They haven't found him. dupreeh was the closest, but he was inside the apartments on low HP. And remember, it was his play that kept Snacks busy and allowed them to walk inside the site against BO3. So only one rifle on VP's side. That's Snacks. We'll see how he uses it, if he heads to B or if they want to throw that off toward window.
Yeah, and the money situation for VP is actually so bad that this might actually have to be double eco. So TSM could very quickly get up to 6 rounds on the T side, and all of a sudden what was looking like VP having full control on their CT side could be a really good T side for TSM.
Zipnix pops out the window smoke. We'll see if Pasha gets caught by this. In fact, it doesn't come as far as they want. That's a short smoke, so they just want to get around the corner. They want to try and force the issue and allow the two players another pass, Cajun B and Kerrigan, a little bit more map room to move up. But again, a 3A stack. Neo's alone, so they did put that rifle inside A. We'll see if TSM can get a read on this early because they're looking for this connector take right now.
They're boosting up into CPL here.
Need to watch out. Pasha's right behind them if that smoke goes away. Okay, Kerrigan's already passed it, and the vent's already popped, so he'll get through silently. Pasha won't have any information about this, and that means the rifle that Snacks is holding is now under threat because he's not going to anticipate this flank from behind. Cajun B keeps Pasha busy. Snacks is moving back down, though. He might catch Kerrigan. Does he? He gets caught with his knife out. Kerrigan, there's your rifle down. Just in the nick of time, he turns around. That could have been absolutely painful, and he'll get more than just that. BO3 drops as well. Device now to find Taz, and it's all left to Neo. 1 on 4, and they're just going to sit and camp this M4. They don't want him to pick that up. No rifles to be had for VP. Although Neo does take down Kerrigan at least, so he may push forward to try and get that. Bomb's already planted. dupreeh's going to come around the vents from the backside. Neo's going to have a welcoming party on either side, and there's your kill.
That was just very well played by Kerrigan there. And the fact that he actually has a team that listens to him as well, because the second he goes through that vent from CPL, you could tell that his entire team just kind of froze, stood still, didn't want to do a single thing until Kerrigan had final say as to where they want to go, because obviously Kerrigan can open up either bomb side at that point when it comes through unnoticed. An aggression for the VP in mid here.
Very aggressive. We saw Taz do this previously on an A take from TSM, and this time it pays off before he even gets all the way around on the flank. He's already found 2. Zipnix responds to the BO3, but Neo's got him immediately answered, so the trade goes out in favor of VP, and it's all left to Cajun B. There's your response. So CT's up to 8. But already 5 rounds for TSM. 9, I would say 9's exactly where they need to be, based on the fact that these two teams in their history have been very CT-sided.
That's very true. I'll fully agree with that. And it looks like VP have had actually a lot of success with these aggressive pushes into mid. So I wouldn't be too surprised if you see that more often, though. Maybe Pasha, if he can get to an AWP at some point, well, not that many rounds to go, but they can continue on with that aggression because it's been working out really nicely for them.
Again, this short corner smoke on Cat, that lets Kerrigan push over left side mid, try and get a secondary angle onto Pasha, but he's playing passively, no op for him, just the rifle, watching for the boost. Back over toward the vent. Taz will hold your connector. BO3's passive in A, so Zipnix, once this smoke goes away, will have an opportunity, a line of sight at least, to catch Taz if he readdresses that angle. And there's still 2 smokes on the CT side, one of which is with Snacks at B, the other is Pasha at mid, so A's not going to have any counter smokes.
They do luckily have a couple of flashes to work with, but right now TSM just taking their time, and it looks like looking for the entry frag towards the B bomb side here with dupreeh and Cajun.
But they're so spread out. They really want this entry on B. You're dead right, but we've still got 2 over at A, so it's wherever gets the first pick is going to be the call. Kerrigan seems to think, based on how far up in apartments they are, that that might be B, but Neo's on the reverse. There's dupreeh down, playing it from the get right spot. Snacks still hasn't made itself known either, so this is going to be a slaughter if they walk out because they haven't found him.
They're actually going to show the bomb on B as well.
Meanwhile, though, Device gets one on A. There's Kerrigan on your entry. Snacks boosted up in the corner, though. Easy kill back in response. That's your bomb down, and it's up on top of the box, so this is very awkward now for TSM. Device might have a chance through the vents to catch BO3, but he's already looking that direction, and Snacks just needs to sit tight. In fact, it's going to be Pasha that gets him on the backside. So 9-5 now, last round of the first half coming out. And TSM would love to get one more.
And that was a really weird round from TSM. Initially, I thought that would be a double fake with dupreeh picking out at first there, seeing if he could get something that TSM could work with, and then having Device and Zipnix towards that A bomb side push out and create more havoc and force a rotation off from VP. And then having Kerrigan and the rest of them go out towards B, but it didn't happen. Kerrigan just showed himself with the bomb together with Cajun.
Now Counter smokes out, defensive smokes on both A ramp and onto Palace. Bombs with Dupree on that side of the map, but here it is. They're going to split for the connector. They want to get these pistols up close. CajunB waiting to try and come in. He's the only one with the rifle from there, and he actually finds Pasha, but he gets taken down by Bialy immediately after. Kerrigan found his way in window. This is actually reasonable for TSM, even though it's a 3-on-3 because Neo's late to the party. But he does find Kerrigan immediately on arrival, so now it's very awkward because they haven't found entrance into the site. Zipnik's still inside. The stairwell drops, and now it's just Device. Gets one, then Neo finds him. They trade him instantly, so good hold from VP that time. And 10-5 will end the half. It looked like TSM started to get some momentum going back their way. They broke VP's economy, but they claw back in the end, and it's going to be standard formation when we swap over.
Yeah, it's going to be, well, what we expected in a way, because these are two very evenly matched teams. And unfortunately, we don't get to see them play each other that often. It's actually one of those few big series that you never really have the opportunity to see because VP's normally on the other side of the bracket.
Exactly.
But, you know, come final time, one of the teams have gone out to the eventual champions.
Yeah, usually that's the case. I mean, perpetual top 4 finishes for either team. In fact, perpetual semifinals, it would seem, for TSM.
Yeah, that's been their big thing. But a 10-5 half, I think both teams are actually okay with that. Obviously, for TSM, it's going to be a bigger focus for them on getting the pistol round. VP can actually live with losing the pistol round in this scenario.
Well, that's the thing. They've got the cushion. They're the ones in the driver's seat now. But again, T-side, they haven't had the best success against TSM in recent history, although we haven't seen them on Mirage, and this is a map that favors them. It's going to come down to Pasha's op. Starting off, Bialy did step up. He held on to that A site quite well from the backside, although he still sits on 10. He's not top fragging. It's Taz and Snacks that lead the way.
Well, Snacks was doing a magnificent job over at the B bomb site. I actually can't recall if he died a single time TSM went B. I don't think he did.
Well, if he did, he died late after getting trade kills, so he was already efficient.
Yeah, no, he was just buying all the time in the world for the rest of his teammates to make the proper rotations.
Looks like we're ready to go. Teams finally getting second half underway. Slight delay, a little bit of communication, get things reset, get the blood back to a normal temperature because they're probably boiling over. It's hot in here and the crowd is more than into this game. And TSM, let's see if they can start things off brilliantly with a second half pistol. It looks like it's going to be a standard split right now from VP. 3 players already heading toward the apartments over toward B, but they'll probably go underpass. In fact, that's exactly what they're doing. They want to split toward this A site. CajunB's on catwalk, trying to find this information in mid. Kerrigan's in window, favoring with the lead off toward A site, so he'll rotate quickly, but there's no one directly in connector, so if they walk up, they might get this site quite easily if Dupree can't stay efficient underneath Shadow. And here it is, there's your first flash over. Smoke comes out late to block off the backside. CajunB won't have a line of sight on the retake. Kerrigan does get the first, but Snacks gets him in response, and they're in. They're already deep in the site. Dupree hasn't been checked off though, but now he will. He goes down to Neo, and it's all Device. He finds one, that's your bomb to get dropped. They haven't found this plant, so it turns that around massively if this bomb goes down, and they can play the post-plant situation from the backside or on the A stairs. Then VP's got a chance at this round, but TSM's done just enough. CajunB's still sitting over on catwalk watching through connector. Means they can't even rush deep into the site, and Zipnix is going to find Bialy, so TSM, there you go. Another pistol for them. They started it off that way, and with both pistols won, now they need to win this match. It's all about the gun rounds, and it's theirs to control. They'll go right to a scout for Kerrigan as well.
Yeah, and you'd imagine with 2-1 pistols that TSM would actually have had a better score at this point, but the fact is they did lose that first anti-eco round after some Deagle heroics from both Paz and Bialy. And they need to make sure that they don't do anything similar again. And you can see a ton of smokes coming out from the VP side. So this is just going to be a complete carpet bombing of smokes towards that A bomb side. And most likely this is just going to be to get the bomb down. That's going to be the main goal.
Well, that's the main goal, but again, it's a very passive A-side defense from TSM. CajunB's waiting for the reverse angle to be because quite often we do see pistols rush out those apartments, so they're just making sure that's not going to happen late. With shots fired today, though, that pulls Kerrigan back in. He's already smoked off at jungle, and again, Dupree's underneath in shadow. He's going to have to play smart, but it's Device from the backside. There's the first for him. Kerrigan gets one with the scout. It's already making a present, and Dupree's above this time, not below, so he'll rain down from above. They're dying to get this bomb plant, though. That's all they want. You called it. They want the money, and they get it, so it's a small victory for VP. And in fact, Neo's not done. He's going to get 2. Oh my goodness, hero play. They know he's trying to go for the defuse. So he pulls out the knife. He won't get the kill. But that's a win for VP, you have to say.
And that was looking so good for TSM initially. They even saw him jumping into the smoke. I have no idea how he actually managed to get that bomb off.
That was man mode.
Yeah,
he committed to that, and he didn't look back. Yeah, and then the 2 frags were even more impressive.
I was just expecting Certnix to hold on to that defuse and actually get knifed as well. And Neo, well, you wanted him to step up, and he's actually been playing pretty well so far this game.
Oh, he has indeed. And that play, I mean, that can't go understated. Yes, the round goes to TSM, but 2 guns drop, bomb plant out. They'll have lots of money to work with in the next round. Right now, they're only going to work with 2 flashbangs, a decoy, and 2 smokes. And just the P250s, no Tech 9s. So they'll save a little bit of money there, but they want to try and go for this B push this time. And in fact, Cajun B's not close to the site. He's already on Cat. He's trying to get this information, but he's getting further away from B. So Xyp9x is going to have to play so smart. Cajun's on his way back, but he might be too late. Xyp9x does get the first. So job's starting off well for him, but he drops immediately. And Cajun B needs to cover this crossfire. Pasha does go down. That's your bomb drop that hasn't been planted, and Kerrigan's already inside the site now as well. Cajun B still looking for the angle. Kerrigan with the UMP gets that $600 kill with it. SMG so strong. VP fading away. They can't find a way back in.
Yeah, and that nearly worked for VP as well. You could see the 2 members that were towards the A-bomb site trying to sell. No, actually it was 1 man, but 2 smokes went down towards that A-bomb site trying to sell the fake for VP. But with Cajun having pushed so aggressively on Catwalk so early, he got all the information he needed. And
there it is.
They made the right rotations.
But it was so close because he got so far away from the site that if Xyp9x didn't at least get 1 kill right there, they might have had a chance for that round, but they'll get it back. Only 2 the difference, and now we're going to see guns come out. AK-47s all the way for all 5 VP players.
And this is, well, not a do-or-die round for VP, but they definitely want to get on the board as early as possible and not allow TSM to build up any sort of economy and get up to those AWPs. Because Kerrigan has already gotten his hands on one.
Again, here's your mid-pressure from VP. No one directly in window. Cajun's falling out of A back toward vent, so he'll get there late. In fact, he's going to bypass that and head straight to B. And VP wants Catwalk. They're already pushed up. Snacks will hold off your rotator and connector. He'll just sit there and wait for anyone to fall in toward him. As Taz already works toward the ladder room, Pasha's going to join him. The question is, do they split? Because now they can get control of window and try and get back to in. In fact, I think Neo's going to take the invitation to go over and join B alley, so they change it up. They look toward Cat at first. Now they're looking toward A because they've been given this map control. And
this is going to be kind of similar to what you talked about in the pre-game. Them splitting A through connector, and this time they're going to add a little spice to it with Taz.
And Dupree's pushed up even further this time. He's not in shadow. He's in fact in Palace. Taz gets your first though. That's Device. He's been solid holding out this site, but he's down already. And VP's going to get more as Cajun B drops as well. Finally, Dupree comes back. Xyp9x gets traded though. Pasha takes him, and Snacks will find Dupree. It's all on Kerrigan. 1 on 4. Bomb's going to get planted. And VP easily finds him. So 11, they get the first gun round. And TSM don't have money to buy back in. This gives them a bit more of a cushion. Actually, they could force.
They could force
and they will. They will.
Yeah.
Shotgun for Kerrigan. Yeah.
Curious to see what Xyp9x decides to go with. And I wouldn't be too surprised if we saw Kerrigan either play that B position by Terrace, jumping up and down, similar to what we've seen Snacks do with Scout, or actually push aggressively into A-apps.
He has been your window player, so that's definitely going to have to change things up, unless he wants to get aggressive and try and push underpass. If he can get behind them inside B apartments, that'll give information at the very least.
It's definitely a possibility.
We've got a slight pause coming out.
Yeah.
In fact, okay, we're looking for an unpause already. Device has already called for it. But this is interesting. They've got the 2 ops out on this force, so not only will it be a shotgun, it's going to be Device. Where's our spawns? Cajun B's the close spawn, so probably Cajun B toward window, but he's been playing in B. He could actually head directly over to Catwalk if they want to play a secondary op position.
Cajun B pretty much has every option in the world at this point. He can also be...
And Device is already looking toward A.
Yeah, but Cajun can be the one guy who actually holds up B alone, for instance.
And that's exactly what they're going to do. So opt toward B. They won't have a direct mid presence. VP's going to go for this close smoke on Cat again. Try and give themselves a bit more room to work and wiggle into the angles. Dupree heads toward the window. B alley's already got Cajun B, though. That's your opt down. That's one of them. Does Xyp9x re-grab it? That's the question. Right now, he's not sure. Yes, he does. Okay, so he'll pick that up. At least they'll be able to secure the gun, but a man down. They've got to split their D. Xyp9x makes good work of it, though. There's B alley down. Dupree's up close. He's got the rifle. They're going to try and come in from Cat. He's already got one, and Xyp9x making huge work. Not normally an offer, but look at how efficient he's been. 3 for him in the round, and he's not done just yet. It all comes down to Taz, and this round fell apart massively for VP. And Xyp9x, there it is, with the 5-7. Huge 4 kill, recovering massively on that lost off.
started that round off with a 5-7 and no real hope of making... Well, he shouldn't have been the guy who to make the impact, but picking up that AWP and maybe showing that he has some hidden talents that we didn't know about.
Diversified team, lots of skill all the way around for TSM. Anyone can come up at any moment, and Xyp9x was the man in that moment right there. Big play.
And this sends VP to the point where they have to force buy in. You can see the Tech 9 on Neo, and well, VP setting up for that A take. Bit of a different variation from what we've seen from TSM. VP are actually going to opt to have 3 people in A-apps here.
Smoke's going to hold out Kerrigan, but he's going to push through them anyway. He's already toward the inside of the site, and it's a good thing he is because he's already found Snacks. Dupree's going to find Bialy, and TSM just slaughtering VP in the tracks. They can't find a way into A at all, and Cajun B's on the big flank, so even if Taz wants to run away, Cajun's going to be on his heels. And that's exactly what Taz looks to do, and Cajun's going to hear him coming. Who's going to walk first? It's Cajun. Taz doesn't know he's there. It's a free kill. Walks. Oh, or is it? A bit of a whiff. Taz buys himself some space, down to 3 HP. Xyp9x is still waiting on the backside, though, so he's not going to get away with this gun regardless.
And TSM might actually just wait for the time to run out. But I think Taz has the prison mind, so there's suicide before that happens. He knows that there's no way TSM's going to let him stay inside there.
As long as he goes down before time expires, like you say. So Kerrigan gets the kill in the end. And now it's 1 round the difference. TSM slowly building on this CT side. Here's the whiff.
We actually hits him in the head. So,
from us, though, couldn't close the deal.
Yeah, should have used burst fire. In any case, VP back on eco. And this is TSM's big opportunity, really, to get back into the game and perhaps into the lead as well. So it's all about minimizing their losses here, really. If they can keep 4 or 5 people alive, that's going to be absolutely massive for them.
And same thing we saw from VP on their last pistol round. They'll work it toward underpass. They want the proximity. They were setting up to go for a mid-split, actually, but Neo and Taz have joined back over on that side of the map, so maybe they're going to try and fake this and head toward B.
Yeah, I think they're
Xyp9x and Cajun B are still there, though.
I think they're going to sacrifice those 3 members running through connector and just hope for the best.
Well, there's your first. Device gets it, so it is a sacrifice, although the Lamb bites back. Snacks gets 1. It's Device who drops, but Kerrigan holds strong. 2 kills from the 5-7, and it's a slaughter. It's only Taz left. He's not even going to have the room to put this bomb down. That was his only goal, and now we're tied up. Much to the delight of the Danish crowd.
Surprisingly, they get louder the more TSM win.
Surprising?
Very surprisingly. Yeah, I can hear the chants already going out. And now TSM, well, they've actually built up a bit of a bank, and we're seeing that double AWP setup coming out again. And this is the team that told us before the tournament started that they were going to try to phase out. Yeah, they're going to phase out AWPs after this update.
But that's the thing, is defensive AWP going to be more powerful now because they're the one with the advantage. Again, I talked about how window might change, but so far they're utilizing them well across the map. Lots of damage done to Cajun B already. Down to 41 for him on that nade.
And BP pretty much doing what we expected of them. Heavy focus on mid control, but Carrigan. Great shot onto Pasha right there.
Dupree's going to find Bialy, so 2-man advantage now. And we said this was going to be VP's map. We thought they would have this. Mirage has always been so strong for them, but TSM are definitely answering that call right now. And Device adds 1 further to the dial tone. He takes down Neo. Kerrigan finds Snacks. Great reaction shot on the backside of the vent. As they had boosted up, they had found a way in, and now he's just going to wait toward this vent room. He doesn't know that's where Taz is, so changes his angle. And there's the slow movement. He's got to be so careful, but he looks. He does find him. Information gained, and now Taz has to run away so carefully if he wants to hold this AK. Because TSM's got all the advantages of the angle, and the bomb's still all the way down. There it is. Device gets it.
Yeah, TSM were ready to pounce on Taz in that situation. Cajun was already pushing out from B apartments. All right, now TSM in the lead. It's been a while. And
no better time to have it either.
Yeah, I think VP wants to talk things over here. And not surprisingly, the momentum has kind of been shifting in the favor of TSM as of late.
Well, they're still sitting down. They haven't huddled up and gone for the tactical pause. But headsets off on both Neo and Bialy.
They might actually be talking to Cuban.
Well, that's the thing. Cuban's come into this roster as their 6th, their coach. It said it was going to take them some time to get used to him, but he's been around long enough now to know their habits, of course. He's a Taz lookalike, by the way. Every time I see them from a distance, I think it's Taz.
Well, they used to be teammates as well. So we're kind of a twin duo.
Brothers from other mothers.
Back in the Golden 5 era. But yeah, as of right now, not really sure if it's a technical issue or if it is actually a timeout from BP, but apparently it was a technical issue from what I...
Okay, so it is technical. We just got word from producers.
They're calling it a technical timeout.
Oh, it is tactical. Oh. Tactical, close enough together. So we are getting a tactical timeout. So Kuben's going to try and get in and get some input, but VP right now need to find a round fast because the money's low for them. They'll save this one more than likely. I can't imagine them trying to force here because then it goes, if they lose it, goes to 13-11 and then potentially 14-11. They have to play pretty much for the last half. Whereas if they save here, they might be able to get back into it a little bit sooner, but they need to find the entries. They're not getting them. TSM's just annihilating them every time they try and come into a site. And normally we see this mid-presence from VP be so successful on this map. It's been a passive setup from TSM. They haven't had a direct play inside window, so VP can't find the early kill, and then they walk into the players just waiting for them on the top side of connector. They're actually giving up connector and then cutting them off inside of it.
Yeah, and you hit the nail on the head. VP aren't able to find anything, and that's why, well, when we've seen them actually move forward onto the map, that's when they've split A or actually just set up for an A execute right away, because that's the one time they actually get onto a side early on and just go face on. Otherwise, whenever they want to go for mid control, TSM are fine. They're happy to give that up. They don't really base their CT side play around having any idea of what VP are doing until they're executing, and that goes, that speaks volumes about how good of a CT setup TSM have and how confident they feel in what they're doing.
Well, that's the thing, because we've seen some unorthodox play in terms of how they play defensively, but they're such a defensive team. They're very strong. In fact, we saw them use some clever boosts on overpass that they only came up with in about 10 minutes' time based on the changes in the map. We see them try and utilize that early B push a lot more effectively than most teams do on Inferno, which we won't see today. Neither of those maps we will. But the point is they're willing to change things up and play a slightly unorthodox position, and it catches some teams off entirely because you're not used to seeing a very passive mid on this map. Again, we'll contrast it to someone like Nip or Fnatic who look for that early three-peak, one from connector, one from catwalk, third player already inside window. You're not getting that, so VP can't just sit back and look for those picks. They don't exist.
Yeah, and a lot of teams actually have a hard time playing versus super passive teams because, well, you have to walk up close enough, you have to find the right edge as to how far you can push up before you start your executes, and VP really haven't found that balance so far.
Back underway, it's P250s that come out, only a little bit of chest armor for Taz. He's got smokes, as do the rest of his teammates, so they'll try and go for a quick execution. Looks like it's going to be on A.
Yeah, it's going to be I think we're going to see a similar thing to what we saw when Neo picked up those two headshots out of the blue and actually got the bomb plant. It's just going to be smokes all over A bomb site. Try to get the bomb plant down to get some extra money, and whatever else you can get in terms of kills is just going to be a bonus.
Device still lurking inside window, but we've got a crossfire set on A. Dupree's up close, but watching on the ramp, and Kerrigan's already inside Palace. Snax is right around the corner. How close are they? And it's an up-close op. Kerrigan has to hit it. He does. Great shot to Snax. That lets Dupree move. He knows he's got to be ready for this push onto A from the opposing side, and he is. He's already found Neo. Bialy responds, but Kerrigan's fallen out, and he's got the op waiting. And Bialy goes down to the scope. Device adds one on Taz, and your one lonely player, the man with the biceps, has to flex against 4, and he's already down to 29 HP.
And I think actually TSM are aware of where it is, because Device did spot some activity in mid earlier on. And down he goes. 13-11 for Virtus.pro, and this is a massive round for them. You can see Pasha actually investing in that offensive AWP here.
Well, he's going to get it out now. This will be the first time we're actually going to get to see if it's going to come to fruition for VP or not. He's already heading toward mid. It's going to be him versus Device. Pasha looking toward connector first, doesn't want to get caught off. Device looking to throw this nade out. That smoke comes out, though. That'll block his angle. Nade does very minor damage onto Neo. And there it is, actually, Kerrigan. So your second op comes out from Cat. They take that opposite angle. Catch VP by surprise. It's still Pasha up, though. He still has this op, and he needs to be careful. He's lurking up catwalk, and he's going to get taken down. Kerrigan waiting. Defensive op the advantage. No speed at all for Pasha, and he drops.
And look at Device as well. He might be able to catch Snax in the back here.
And he does. Easily played. Drops out the window. Quick kill onto him. Bialy finally gets a response, but he goes down. Dupree's got it. And TSM, no problems thus far. But they still have 2 more rounds, and 14's always been their magic number, and when things get awkward.
Yeah, this is where the rough times start for TSM. And you can tell how effective it is, the fact that they're not giving up entry frags to VP. Even with the boys having a good enough spawn and having the AWP to actually peek mid, he opts to wait for VP to smoke out window before he actually does anything.
And Pasha couldn't get anything going with the off T side. We talked about that was going to be huge. Snaxo already inside connector. Kerrigan up close, Mr. Op! Neo at least gets the trade, but what a shot by him because Snax had dead to rights into the site right there. Now dupree's got to be efficient again from Shadow, catching off Neo. They know he's there. That team flash will buy him a little more time. He'll smoke himself as well and climb the ladder. So Taz needs to read this perfectly. Cajun B, meanwhile, has found Pasha. It was a trade. And Taz gets dupree. He finds him. So he did read that perfectly. He knew he went above. That bomb's still down. They've got to push for it. And nice shot. That takes down your off angle. So it's all Device to play this. But there's no smokes. There's nothing to work with on VP's side. Device has full line of sight, gets the first one on Taz. He's down to only 10 bullets, needs to hit these shots, and he does! TSM match point on map 1. Mirage picked by VP. And this is looking brilliant now for them. Look at the money, 16K for Kerrigan, 15-9 for Zipnix.
They can buy out the entire, well, the rest of the game, really. So everything is in the hands of TSM. They have such a good opportunity here to close out VP. But this is the moment of truth. Can they actually do it, or are they actually going to bring it back to an overtime? And VP, they do get a proper buyout. They have plenty of nades, and
they've got that money bonus firmly in their favor.
They really do. And well, we're going to see something they've done already here. TSM BO3 working towards that A-bomb side end.
Cajun B's got to read, though. He was pushed up close enough. He heard them inside the apartments. He fell initially thinking it was going to be into B, but where he knows they're not there, it has to be into connector from underpass. Snax this time, though, does get the first kill. Now they've got an entry to work with. Kerrigan smoked off. Cajun B, though, does find Pasha, but they're in. They're already deep into the site. Snax is there. They just need to worry about the backside where Zipnix is rotating. And his smoke's there now as well, so BO3's gonna get this bomb plant pretty much uncontested. Zipnix tries to spam through in response. He won't connect on anyone, and he's out of ammo. Snax times his peak perfectly. Over the top, and he's helpless. It's all down to 2 players on TSM's side.
We know that they don't really need to save, so Kerrigan, he just needs to hang around and do as much damage as possible if he wants to do that, but...
Well, that's the big thing, because this will reset the money bonus. They've got not a lot of money at all left to buy. Pasha's going to be hurting next round regardless of whether or not they win this. If he can do more damage, it just helps them that much further, because if VP start to string rounds together, it could be quickly turned back. There's one, that's BO3, and they're hunting him. I don't think they should be. They don't have the money to do this, and it doesn't make a difference for Kerrigan. So there's going to be the bomb detonating. And now if they go down, it's even more detrimental, so they don't push him. That's a smart play by VP at that point.
Yeah. You can see BO3 there sitting with 3-9, and he's going to be able to get an AK and, well, no, they actually drop him an AK. So they will actually get a really good buy. Lots of Molotovs as well. But right there, the previous round, we saw VP do something they've been known to do for so long. And that's the aggressive push into connector by Snax, and somehow keeps catching teams off guard with it.
Double up again. Cajun B on catwalk, looking for that off-angle peek. Kerrigan's got the other, he's in window. Pasha's lurking on the opposing side of middle, but no op for him, just the AK. Yeah. They've got 2 in underpass, so VP back to their old tricks.
Similar setup, only this time Taz is actually joining Pasha in mid-air.
They're gonna flash out. Kerrigan's waiting, doesn't get the first shot, just missing far right. That secondary nade's gonna do even more damage onto him. He's down to 60 at this point. Are they gonna go for the boost though? Doesn't look like they will. That smoke's gonna hold them off of it, but Snax again wants to get this entry onto the connector. dupree's playing it passively, still waiting toward Palace, but there's Cajun B. He pops out and the nade from Device takes him down, and Cajun's not done. From catwalk, off angle, no smoke to take away his vision, and Pasha realizes that's a mistake, at least goes back to kill him, but he's all that's left, and TSM are looking to take Mirage away from VP. Pasha though has something to say about it. He's gonna find both the Ds, dupree and Device. And he's still got 30 seconds. How does he play this? Zipnix and Kerrigan both toward jungle. He wants catwalk. Zipnix, though, is going to see him because there's no smoke at all, and he's already spotted him. Can't get the first shot off, and he's trapped him. The question is, does Kerrigan pop out? He does. Perfect play. Knew exactly where the crossfire was. Knew he had connector to work with. And it's TSM in front of the home crowd on map 1.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how much of that sound you can pick up on the screen, but they are loud.